you are Glow. Glow tells you they're the grandmaster of research. Whether they are or they're not. But millions of people every day are buying their data from Glow because grandmaster, right? And that is the story that they're telling. And some people are not believing the story. So that's the thing. Next slide, please. So, the way that I like to think of it is, I'm a strategist, right? And so everybody thinks that own is the most important. And brand is really a function of strategy. And all strategy is you say, I'm here, and I want to reach that place. What are the things that I need to do to get me from here to there? That's all strategy. And the way that I like to explain it is, think of a film, any film, right? There is actors, there's many things that go into a film. There's actors, there's performance, there's the costume, there's the director, there's lighting, but none of it matters if there's no script. Right? Because we've all seen films where it looks great, everyone's dressed really well, but at the end of it, you're like, nothing really happened. That's where it didn't make sense, right? Strategy is your script. Strategy is the story that says, this is how I'm going to get my product, my brand, my business, myself, from this place that I am now to that place where I want to go, right? I'm going to get there, I'm going to get there in this time, and when I get there, I can then start planning where I'm going to go next. Next slide, please. So where do you start? We start at the end. If you are going to go on a journey, you don't just get up, you don't ask the people where they are and just start walking, right? Before you leave your house, you have called, you have gotten the address, maybe you check Google Maps, you know your way there, right? So you don't start on any kind of a journey without understanding where do you want to go. So if we're building a brand, the first question needs to be, to what end? What are we trying to achieve? What is the point? What do we need to do? Because there's no point saying, I want to make 5 million naira, and then I build a brand, and it only appeals to people in the rural areas that don't have money. So I can never make that 5 million naira, right? So I've got to build a brand for people that can give me that money. There's no point saying, oh, what I want to do is I want to build a really expensive house. Right? A really, really, really expensive house. But then the brand that I build, the story that I tell, is for people like you, right? Because you may have money, but none of you are ready to move into a house yet. So it doesn't make sense for me to be telling a story to children or to teenagers, because teenagers don't buy houses, right? So you have to think about, what am I trying to achieve? What is my goal? And then from there, you start working backwards. And then you always check. At every stage, this thing that I'm doing, is it going to get me to my goal? And if it's not, what do I need to change? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So, how do you set a goal? This is actually something that's useful, I think, even if you're not doing marketing or brand. This is something that I use for myself in my own lifetime, actually, in terms of setting goals. It's called a SMART objective. Right? There's a difference between an objective and a hope. A hope is just something, I hope it happens. It would be nice if it happened, but I have no real clear plan of how I'm going to get there. An objective is something that I've said specifically, this is what I'm going to do. So what is the difference between an objective and a hope? Something called SMART. Is it specific? Am I clear? So I work with a lot of different clients, a lot of very rich, many of them are much richer than me, much bigger people than me. They come and say, what do you want to do? I want everyone to love me. That's not an objective. Who is everyone? Love you how? How will you know if they love you? By when do you want them to love you? What kind of love is it you're looking for? It's not specific. Clearly, what exactly? How am I going to measure it? How am I going to count it? Okay, the love, is it that they'll love you so they lie? Is it that they love you so they will tell somebody? How many people should they tell? Like, very, very specific. Is it measurable? How will I know when I've done it? Because that's the thing about a hope, right? Sometimes you can hope for something and it comes, but because you didn't really have a clear idea, it comes and it passes, you didn't see it. Right? So how will you know when you've achieved it? Right? How will you measure? How are you going to count? Is it sales? Is it the number of people that are talking to you? Is it awareness? Is it the number of people that have recommended you? How am I going to measure? How am I going to count? When you go to school, all of this is exams, right? So this is the exam for your brand. What is the basis for measurement? Is it something that can be achieved? And this is really important. Yes, you should be ambitious. Yes, you should stretch yourself. But we all have to live within the bounds of our own reality, right? If I say, all right, I make bottled water, and I want to get 50% market share. That means half of the people that buy bottled water in Nigeria must buy it from me. And I want to do this before the end of this year, so that's in 2 months, and I have 50K. You'll tell me it's not achievable, right? So you have to think realistically, this thing that I want, can I do it with the resources that I have? Can I do it in the time that I have? Do the customers even exist for me to do it, right? So is it actually achievable? And this is really important because there are some things, because I want to talk to you about brand and marketing, right? There's some things that are not a brand problem. If I don't have a way to get my product into a market, no matter I can communicate from here until next month, if my product doesn't reach my customer, nothing that I do is achievable, right? Okay. Bye, guys. Is it relevant? Do I have the right tools with which to achieve what I'm trying to do, right? It's like saying, I want to sit an exam. It's a geography exam. I've been studying history. When I get to the exam, I may know everything in history, but it's not relevant to my geography exam, right? So the thing that I'm trying to do I have the right tools, the right information to get it done? And then lastly, when does it need to happen by? When a million years, God, 30 years ago now? No. 35 years ago now when I was in secondary school. Right? At the beginning of the term, they would tell you, in week 6, you will write a paper. And they would tell us at the beginning of the term, so that those of us with sense will start planning from the beginning of the term. People like me will remember at the beginning of week 6 and then be wanting to see where. So the point is, if they don't tell you when the paper is due, you'll just be taking your time. You will never actually write the paper because it's the deadline, right? That causes you to act. So when you're doing your objectives, always give yourself a deadline. I must have achieved this specifically by this date. That's what makes it an objective and not a goal. Next slide. So, what I want to do is I'm going to use an example because the work that I do can be a bit vague, right? It's like a lot of it is basically I speak English for a living, every long life, right? And it can seem very theoretical, like in books, right? And hard to understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an example. It's one that I've made up, but I'm hoping that it will help you understand some of the concepts that I'm trying to communicate. So I have invented a baby soap. It's called a manachangma, because that's what they used to call me. And so there are baby soap. It is what they used to call me a long time ago. I was a very few baby actors. I prove. I'll show you later, right? And so right now, they are the number 4 baby soap in Nigeria, right? So there's 3 other baby soaps that are selling more than them. And what they want is they want to move from number 4 to number 2. Right? And that is by sales. So they want to be the second highest selling baby soap in this country. And they want to do it by December 2021. So the first conversation we're going to have with them is what? That's not achievable. Right? You cannot go from 4 to 2 months. So when this client comes to me, the first thing we do is negotiate 2021, maybe by 2022. Give us a year, we can get there. Right? Next slide. So, what is the first thing you want to do when you want to sell soap? I always start with my brand, actually. You have to know your product. If you are the product, you have to sit down and evaluate yourself, right? And I like to say that your product is the hero. It's like in a film, there's always the hero, Superman, Batman, whoever, he's the guy. Or she is the woman, right? That's your product. Your brand must always be the hero. The first thing you have to do is figure out what is special about your brand. And the thing about it is, it needs to be special and it needs to be true, but it doesn't need to be unique. This is something for people who are at university, you would have heard the unique selling proposition. It's a trap, don't believe it. For those of you who are coming up, you will hear it. Unique selling proposition. What is the one thing your brand can do that nobody else can do? It's all nonsense. Right? Because we've agreed, there's nothing that Coke can do that Pepsi cannot do. Right? There's nothing that Fanta can do that Mirinda doesn't do. There's nothing that GT Bank can do that Wema Bank doesn't do. That is not the heart of your brand. The heart of your brand is to understand what is something that nobody else is currently talking about or claiming that is true that my customer cares about. So I'll give you an example. When I was about, maybe a little bit younger than you guys, when I was in primary school, I lived in America. I lived in Houston, Texas. Children, real food. So when you're thinking about what is special about your product, don't worry about whether or not somebody else can do the same thing. That's not the thing. Just think about what are the things that matter to your customer. When you've listed all of them, look for the one that nobody else is talking about, right? That's how you create difference in the marketplace. It doesn't have to be that you do something different. You can just talk about it differently. In the end, what did GT Bank do? It was orange and it looked nice. When you guys will remember this, but bankers used to dress really badly. And they just told their guys, please buy a nice suit. That was it. When they started, there was nothing else they would do. And when you got to the branch, somebody had an umbrella and they would open the door for you. Finish. Okay? And that's what led them to where they are now. So it doesn't always have to be something amazing and different. It just needs to be something that nobody else is talking about. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Slide. I'm done for you. All right. So the way to think about it, what does it actually do? This is your product. What does it do? What does it do for your customer? What does your customer gain by using it? Who is it for? Because not every product is for every person, right? Not every soap is for everybody. Not every chair is for everybody. So who is this product actually for? What are people currently using now instead of your product? Because you have to think about what we call the competitive set. Nobody is a category of one. Whatever product you're selling, 20, 30, I'm working with a banking brand right now. A brand is an idea, right? Because if I blindfold you and I pour Pepsi in one cup and I pour Coca-Cola in another cup, very few people can tell the difference, right? Because really, it's sugar, water, and food coloring. It's all the same, right? If you enter a car, whether it's a Mercedes or a BMW, if you take off the logo, it's hard to tell, right? So they all look the same. They all have the same features. If it's a bank, if I say to you, how is GT Bank different from First Bank? In your mind, they feel very different, right? It's like, oh, GT Bank is very different, First Bank is old. But if you actually look at what they offer, if you look at their products and their services, it's the same, right? So what the brand is the idea in your mind, right? Because in whatever it is you're buying, whether it's Gala or Fanta or a car, anything on phone, the features of it. So if I bring an Apple phone and I bring a Samsung phone, if they're the same price, what they do is the same, right? There's no real difference in the device. But when I think of Apple, I think of very different things, right? I'm cool, I'm creative, right? When I think of Samsung, it's just Samsung, right? And the truth is that Samsung sells, they make so much more money than Apple. They have more devices, they make more money, they sell more phones across the world, but the Apple brand is worth more, right? Which is why Apple can sell you the same phone, literally, when they put the Apple logo on it, it's 40% more, right? So a brand is the emotional relationship you have with a product or service, right? So that's why you choose. So I have my favorite thing. When you really think about it, in your mind you say, oh, it's because it's cheaper or because it tastes nicer, but it's not really. In your heart, there's something about that product that connects to you, right? So when you go, there's all sorts of associations. When I first started doing this, we did a piece of research. We did this research in 25 countries across the world. Africa, Asia, Europe, places that I didn't even know existed. And we did it for Coca-Cola. And we said to them, when I say Coke, what comes to mind? And it was amazing to me because in all of these countries across the world, the same things showed up all the time. Refreshment, real, fun, family. Now, there's nothing, apart from refreshment, there's nothing in the actual liquid that would make you think fun, really, or family, or real, right? Because it's sugar and food coloring. But because for the last 150 years, Coca-Cola has been telling people that what Coke stands for is real refreshment. For 150 years, they've been telling this same story. And so now, wherever you go in the world, when you ask people, it's the same story they're telling you. There's a joke that we tell in marketing that when you come and you introduce yourself, that's how your competition. If you're a savings product, every person, every office that's doing agile is your competition. Right? If you're an investment product or a savings product, agile is your primary competition. So you have to understand what are people, because there's very few things in this world that somebody has not already found a way to do. It is to send money. Before we could send money by the phone, we're sending money. We had another way to do it. So you have to think about what are all the ways that my customers are already doing what it is that I want to do. Then why is mine better? We have to give people a real reason to choose. If two people are toasting you, the third person that comes cannot just be like, hey, I'm now here as well. Right? They can't just show up and just be smiling at you. Don't think they used to collect somebody's girlfriend or girlfriend. Just a real reason to choose me. This is why you should choose me. Call me because X, Y, Z I can do for you. And those people cannot do for you. Right? That's the way you have to think about it. If you are selling a product and identity, you're trying to steal somebody's girlfriend or boyfriend, that's the way to think about it. So why should they leave where they are now? Where they are, they will not be perfectly happy, but at least it's not terrible. To come and join me. You gotta give me a real reason to choose. Why are we better? And again, the better doesn't necessarily mean that they're not doing it, it's just that they're not talking about it. And then lastly, what is the personality, right? The way I would say is like, imagine if a brand became a person, right? So if GT Bank was a person, and First Bank were a person, You will not be the same person, right? Very, very clearly, so that's what I mean by what is the personality. Are you cool? Are you smart? Are you serious? Are you careful? Are you the fun one? Right? Are you the party person? Are you the studious person that is there to read books? Are you the person that makes someone feel loved and safe? What is the personality of this brand, right? Once you have done all of these, then you move to the next. Next slide, please. Next. All right, so our soap. We know it's an all-natural cleansing bar. You can use it to wash, right? We know that it's for yummy mommies. It's a little bit expensive, it's a little bit fancy, so not everybody will buy it. But all those people who like to carry their child like a handbag, yeah, those people that want to get. Okay. We know that right now, these women are buying imported soap. They don't want to use local soap on their baby because it is all natural, all natural ingredients. That's why it's better than these ones. Because it's like just those water. Herbs and spices. Right? And its personality is absolutely all those factors, right? Because this is who we're talking to. Next slide. So, okay, which one do you know, right? So, what are the things that drive purchase? My sister makes far more money than me. So, while price is a consideration for me, she doesn't ask the price of anything anymore. I'm like, please, before you begin, how much? Because you know there's something you're qualified to, like, there's no point. Let me just respect myself and not shame my dead parents and just be moving on. What kind of media do they listen to, watch, consume, right? Because you can't go and meet everybody one by one and say, good afternoon, sir, would you like to buy my soap? Right? So I've got to reach them using mass channels, social media, radio, TV, but I have to know which shows they watch. So there's no point of me going to spend all my money on CNN, and the people that I'm trying to reach are all watching South City. I will have taken that money and sell it on fire, right? There's no point by saying, oh, online, social media, and I'm on Instagram every day. Meanwhile, my audience is listening to the radio, right? So it's really important to know where your audience is. I see people all the time, and it's like, they've got this big billboard, and I'm looking at this billboard, and I think to myself, those billboards are starting at 30 million naira. The people you're trying to sell this thing to are not passing this way. I want to give my child the best. So for myself, I will look for cheap things, but if it comes to my child, I will always buy my child the most expensive thing. And this is true of first-time mothers everywhere in the world. By the time they get to their second child, no big difference. Where do they go? They come on Instagram, they watch DSTV, they have a lot of WhatsApp groups, and they go to Mommy Blog and they listen to podcasts. You know, their day, they wake up at 5, first feeding, 6, we bathe. The 6 a.m. bathe is nanny that bathes them because I'm at that point trying to get my husband ready and out the door. His mother's here and I got to get her squared away. So I don't actually get to sit down with my child until 7 a.m. when everybody else is settled, and then from 7, that's my time. Right? And then we're feeding every 2 hours. Around the afternoon, I have lunch, I put the baby down. Then I go and I start catch up with my friends. Let's see what other people are doing. Then my husband comes home, we have some adult time. Then, you got to get the baby to bed, right? So in that cadence, it's actually late morning, is when they are with their child. So if I'm talking to you about anything you're doing with your baby, that's probably the best time for me to be discussing it with you. Now, if these were working mothers, it would be different. If these were young women without children, it would be different. If these were working men, it would be different. But knowing the rhythm of somebody's day, and we all have routines, right? The rhythms of somebody's day helps you understand when in their day I should be telling them my story. Next slide. And then as you have said, all of us are trying to chase somebody else's girlfriend. We have to see what is the competition doing. And the way that I like to do competitive analysis is I check out the product that they have. What are the features of the product, right? So the actual thing they're selling. What is it? What does it have? Does it have anything my own doesn't have? Do I have something they don't have? What are they saying about their product? Right? What are the claims that we're making? So in the cheese example, they were talking about it's delicious and it's stretchy. What is the promise that they're giving to customers? Are they telling customers, if you buy this, as Apple says, you're a creative person? Right? Is it like GT Bank? You're an example of black excellence when you bank with GT Bank. That's the thing, right? Globally competitive Africa. Are they telling you that they're really smart? What is the thing that they're using to sell, right? Are they saying to you, you're a good mother because you're feeding your child healthy, nutritious food? Like, what are they saying? What's the promise? What kinds of activities are they doing? Is it radio? Is it online? Is it in store? Is there somewhere that they're not that maybe isn't an opportunity to be somewhere? Because the problem we have is, if any of you listen to the radio, you see it, right? There'll be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ads in a row. By the time the 10 has come, you don't know what the first one was, right? So sometimes it's like, okay, if everybody is on radio, but nobody is doing anything in the store, maybe instead of doing radio, I should be there in the store. That's when she's making the purchase that I tell my story. If everybody is in the store, maybe I need to be online, right? You need to find a way to separate yourself from the fact, because if you're standing with 50 other people, it's hard to see you. But if 50 people are standing here, and you're standing here, right, it's easier to see you. So you're always looking for ways to separate out, right? Create that distinctiveness. Because the way that I say it is like, if you're walking down a road and there's 10 billboards, and all 10 of them are red, by the third billboard, you're not looking. Because it's just another red billboard. And your brain assumes it's the same thing and switches off. If there's 9 red billboards and 1 blue one, the only thing you're going to see is that blue billboard. That's the only one you're going to remember. And that is exactly what your brand is, right? How can I be the blue billboard? How can I separate myself? How can I be memorable? How can I give somebody a reason to give me their money? Always remember, last is to collect money from somebody. Next slide. Right, so we looked at the baby soap category, and it's like they all went to one photo shoot. They all cast the same 2 babies. I feel like I didn't realize that babies all look so much alike. Right? And it's like the only thing you can see is a smiling baby in the back. And that's the only possibility for the only way I saw baby soap is, oh, you. And it makes sense, right? Because you're selling to mothers of infants raging through their bodies. Babies are literally designed. So I'm convinced of this. So, I don't know if you believe in evolution or not, but I believe that the only reason that babies look like this is so that all of you survive to adulthood. Because if babies were not cute, in the second hour of the screaming, you fling them from the window. But when you go to fling them, then they look at you with the big eyes and the chubby cheeks. Okay, sorry. Let's try the walking again. Right? And that is right here. I just do the same thing. Nobody will even see me. And whatever energy, money, time I spend, I may as well just have burnt it. Right? So I have to find a way to stand out from the crowd. So I thought, all right, where would the opportunity be? I know a little bit about my product. I know about my mother. I know about the category. So where is a gap? Is there something that my mother cares about that nobody else is addressing? Right? Is there something that I can say or do that will be different from everybody else? Next slide. Right. And as it turns out, there is. So we, because we did the focus group, went to people's Instagram and looked at their pictures of their babies. It used to be that, you had a baby and you just took a picture of the baby, right? Look, my baby's so cute, it's finished. Now is baby photo shoot. Mom will sew outfits, baby will sew outfits, possibly dad will sew outfits if you can convince him. Baby will have 15 costume changes. I'm like, the child is asleep through all, I'm sure they gave that child confidence, there's no way. Right? But like, it's really, really, my baby has to be ready for Instagram. That is so now, all this peaceful, sweet, yes. But the thing that's really doing her is how many likes people have Instagram accounts just for their baby. I'm like, why is your baby on Instagram? It doesn't do anything. Your baby eats, sleeps, and poops. But remember, my baby is a reflection of me. Right? That Instagram account is not about my baby, it's about me. My baby is fabulous, I am fabulous. My baby is shiny, I am shiny. Right? So we can have fabulous bath time. Every bath time should be Instagram ready. Right? Next slide. Oh, sorry. I'm missing. So I actually there's a slide missing, which basically had a mock-up of what it could be if you had. So instead of having the soft, sweet baby, maybe you have mom and baby in the matching. Because have you seen on Instagram now? They have all the babies as if they've gone to the spa. They've got like a robe on, right? So mom and baby in matching robes, absolutely fabulous, right? That's the kind of thing a young mommy will respond to because actually it's about her. But you see all this baby stuff advertising, the mother is not there. So just acknowledging that it's as much about her as the baby could be a way to become the blue billboard, right? So for us, it's that bath time should be as fabulous as you. So leave soft, gentle, yes, all of that is true. But what we're selling is the idea of fabulous. So maybe the packaging has to have sparkles. Maybe we're doing launch events at the spa, right? There's ways that you can do it, that you begin to tell this story. It's still just soap, but now it's a soap of fabulous babies. And everybody who wants to have a fabulous baby for Instagram is like, yeah, I want to tell them the soap to buy. Right? That's how you get to a place for your brand, a space for your brand, that differentiates you from the category. Like, give somebody a reason to give you their money. So at the end of the day is what we're trying to do. Once you have decided, we want to have the fabulous bath time, right? That's our story. We're going to just keep telling the story of bath time that's as fabulous as you. Designer bath time that's ready for the crown, right? Then I've got to build out my contact plan. How do I get my story out there? How do I reach these mothers? Where should I reach them? Where do I tell my story? Next slide. So, the way that I like to do it is I like to give myself tasks. What does my plan have to achieve? Here, I know that I need to build, because I'm the number 4 so there's many people that don't even know. So what I need to do is I need to get people to see us, right? So first of all, let them even know that we're here, right? We need to build awareness. And they need to know not only are we here, but we're fabulous, right? And so I'm going to say, okay, where are the moms? So we know that they're on Instagram, we know they're on the mommy blog, so that's where I'm going to advertise. Because that's where they collect, and they're there thinking about their babies, right? And I'm really looking to say, okay, and then maybe there's spas, is there a place where they go? Where do they go to be fabulous? Do I meet them, right? So when you go to do your nails, they want to talk to you while you're doing the nails about how fabulous your baby can be, right? Do I have mommy and me events at the salon or at the spa? Or, is it that church that they're gathering? I don't know, wherever it is they gather. I want to go to where they are. Then I want us to scan us, right? It's one thing to know somebody. It's another thing to be a fan, right? You all know lots of people. We don't like most of them, and we're certainly not fans, right? How do we make them want to be with us, be in the same room as us, come to our events, be part of our family, right? Part of it is, okay, who are the people that they follow? There's all these lobby influencers. Who are the most popular? Maybe I should be inviting those ones to my event. So at the very least, people will come to be next to them. And that's how it works. Okay, if you see someone and if there's a full person, if I'm standing next to the full person, I can borrow some of that fullness. It's called borrowed equity. So even if you're doing things at the same time, every activity has a role, right? No activity can do everything for you. This is the mistake that a lot of people make. They're like, oh, I did one act, and then they wait. Let the sales be coming. No. It doesn't work that way. Next slide. So, in conclusion, right? We start at the end. What am I trying to achieve? What is my objective? And my objective must be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. People are paying attention. Who is my hero? What do I offer? Who does it make sense for? Why should they choose me?